Have you ever wondered what it'd be like if you weren't able to do all the things you were doing when you were a little kid, like jumping on the trampoline, doing somersaults, cartwheels, but you just had to sit and watch all your friends do it? I had to live with that. I wasn't able to do everything everyone else did, and it's all due to scoliosis. Scoliosis set me back in so many ways, from preventing me from doing gymnastics, lifting weights, somersaults, cartwheels, all different types of things. Today, I'm here to talk to you about scoliosis, what it is, the causes, the treatments. But first, I want to talk to you about my story. I was about 9 months old when my parents found out that there was something wrong with me. I was unhappy and a very, very, very mean girl. I had a constant limp and I wasn't really able to do much, and I would cry all the time. When I was 3.5 years old, that was the first time my parents finally got the answers they wanted. They took me to Children's, but they couldn't find anything wrong with me at first. So an inflammation specialist called my mom, and they said that they knew that they couldn't do anything to help me, but they needed to get me into the neurologist right away because someone like this, there was really something wrong, and it couldn't get any worse. I went through so many MRI scans and tests that my parents didn't think that they were ever going to find the answer until one MRI changed it all. My mom saw the doctor, the nurse, and the hospital chaplain all walk down the hall into the room, and that's when they finally found out that they were getting the answers they'd been looking for. This is when the doctor told my mom that I had a tumor in my spine that was causing all of these abnormalities, and that they needed to perform immediate surgery or it could cause permanent paralysis. Now, you're probably wondering, what is scoliosis? According to the New York Times, scoliosis is an abnormality of the spine that causes a slight curve of either the spine or the backbone. It affects 2 to 3% of the population, which is about 6 million people in the United States. It's most common in people 10 to 15 years of age, but you can have it when you're older. It's just not as likely. Of these people, 10% of them have scoliosis, but only 1% of them have them to the point where it needs treatment. And 20% of these people get it from genetics, like inheriting it from your family. Along with what it is, I want to talk to you about the signs and symptoms, the risk factors, and the complications. For the signs and symptoms, it's uneven shoulders, one shoulder blade more prominent than the other, uneven waist, and one hip that's higher than the other. But if it's super bad, your spine will actually start to turn and your ribs could pop out. But for me, I have uneven shoulder blades and one shoulder blade that sticks out further than the other. And for the risk factors. Your risk factors includes your age, because you usually get it prior to your puberty. Your sex, even though both men and female get it, girls are more likely to have scoliosis that requires treatment. And your family history. Like I said before, 20% of these people usually get it from family. And now for complications. Complication includes appearance, major back problems, and if it's super bad, it can cause lung and heart damage. And now for the causes of scoliosis. According to WebMD, about 80% of cases they don't actually find an actual cause for the scoliosis, but if they do, they split it into 2 different types, structural and non-structural. For non-structural, the symptoms are one leg that's higher than the other, muscle spasms, and inflammation. And once these are treated, the scoliosis will actually kind of be cured. But for structural, it's a little different. These are caused by like genetics such as cerebral palsy or birth defects, cerebral palsy, muscular dystrophy, birth defects, infections, Marfan syndrome, Down syndrome, or in my case, tumors. And now for the treatments. There are many different types of doctors that actually go along with helping you treat your scoliosis, but like they all work together because like not just one doctor can just go in and perform surgery on you. But your primary care doctor, your orthopedic surgeon, a neurosurgeon, a rehabilitation specialist, physical therapist, neurologist, and an occupational therapist goes all hand in hand to help you heal it. But now for the actual treatments. There's 3 different types of treatments: observation, bracing, and surgery. Observation is the simple one. They just find that you have a slight curve, but they'll just keep watching it to see if it gets worse over time. But bracing occurs when you have a curve that's between 25 and 40 degrees. I had a back brace. I actually had 3 of them. My parents were really scared when they found out I was going to have a back brace because they picture this. This type of back brace is what they used in way back when. It goes over your clothes and it's like really, really noticeable. Yeah. This is actually one of my back braces. It goes under your clothes and you can't even notice that you have it on. And that's a picture, I don't know if you can see, but that's a picture of me in my back brace. Like, yeah, it sucks, but you can't really notice it. And then finally, surgery. This surgery is called a spinal fusion. It's where you go in and you put 2 rods and 22 screws on, like, in your spine, and they kind of just turn it until your spine goes. And here's a picture of me before I had my surgery. I had my surgery going into freshman year. And then here's a before and after picture of my spine. I had a 53-degree curve. And then if you're lucky, you might even get a puppy after surgery. That's my dog. To recap, I talked about what scoliosis is, what causes it, the treatments of scoliosis, and my story. Scoliosis isn't something that I usually talk about having because I don't really like a lot of people to know. Because if you looked at me right now, you would just see a normal teenage girl with no problems. But it does define who I am. Even though scoliosis set me back a while ago, it hasn't set me back recently, and I can do basically anything I want. And yeah, now I'm happy, like this picture.